To a very special episode of Katie.Pix. It's Halloween in the Katie.Pix kitchen, and I have teamed up with the spectacular Schwartz Herbs and Spices to bring you a spooktacular, ghoulishly delicious, devilishly good, will tickle the very bones of you, haunt you for the rest of your life, delicious recipe. Today we are making pumpkin spiced macaron with a spicy white chocolate ganache filling. So first things first, we're going to start off with our dry ingredients, and what's really important here is that you sift your ingredients. Okay, so you can't have a macaron without ground almonds. So I've got 125 grams here, and I'm going to put them straight into the sieve. 250 grams of icing sugar as well. And now we're going to get onto our spicing. So I'm so excited to have partnered up with Schwartz because I genuinely use them all the time, and their spices are so fragrant and powerful. So you don't need a lot, a little goes a long way. So we're gonna add in half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. Next, we're gonna add in some cloves. That's going in there, a nice pinch. And you've got all of the autumnal flavors you can ever wish for. We're also gonna add in a generous grind of salt as well, a bit of sea salt. This is going to help bring out those flavors and to also stabilize your macarons a little bit as well. We're then going to sieve all of these ingredients through so you've got a lovely fine dry mix. Okay, so I've got through what I can. You are left with a very thick crumb of almond. If you need to, top it up and sieve through a bit more so that you get up to 125 grams. Now we're going to move on to our meringue. You use the meringue to get that lovely lightness into a macaron, and so that's what the base of the macaron is. So we're going to start off with a clean, dry bowl. We're going to separate 4 eggs so that we've got 4 egg whites and into the bowl. And you're going to whisk these up into stiff peaks. Whilst you're doing so, we've got 1 vanilla bean pod here as well. And you just need to run your knife down the middle of it, and then we're going to scrape the seeds out and add that to our mixture too. Then we're going to gradually add in 100 grams of caster sugar and whisk until the mixture resembles a thick, glossy meringue. And I'm going to add in some food colour gel. I don't have an orange, so I'm going to make one with some yellow and some red. You want to give your meringue 1 or 2 minutes on the whisk, get lots of air into it and make sure that caster sugar has fully dissolved. We check that by grabbing a little bit, pinching it, and if you rub it and there's no crystals left, then you're good to go. So now that consistency looks good, it is time to combine our meringue with our dry ingredients. Lovely. Now for this you want to use either a spatula or a metal spoon, something that doesn't have a thick edge because you do not want to beat the air out of this. The air is so important in a macaron. So bit by bit we're going to fold in our mixture. And what you're looking for is for your mixture to combine to a point where it drips off your spoon and starts to melt back into the mixture. But if you overmix your mixture, you're going to end up with a flat macaron that doesn't have any feet. If you undermix it, however, your macaron is going to have too much air and it's going to crack. Okay, that's it. That's what we want, and it's melting back in. Perfect. Right, we're now going to decant this into some piping bags so that we can start doing our macarons. Using a piping bag and a plain 1 centimetre nozzle, pipe your discs onto the baking sheets. Now the next few steps are very important. You must leave your macarons to dry at room temperature for at least an hour. You can also help the process by firmly banging each baking sheet on the countertop a few times. You'll know they're dry when they form a non-sticky skin, and then you're going to pop these into the oven at 180 for 16 to 18 minutes. Next up, we're going to make our filling, and I am so proud of this because it is delicious. So, super simple. 170 mils of double cream is going to go into a saucepan on a low heat. To that, we are going to add in half a teaspoon of Schwartz chili powder, which, as you can imagine as well, is going to add a lovely little bit of colour to your ganache too. Lovely. And we're going to go in with another vanilla bean pod. Once that's heating up, you're going to grab yourself a bowl of 300 grams of good quality white chocolate. Once that is warmed up, we're going to pour it over, allow it to melt by itself, give it a stir, and there you have it, ganache. So our ganache has now cooled and is perfectly set to pipe onto our first batch of macarons that are out the oven and perfectly cooled. And look at the legs on that! Super shiny, smooth shell that only comes from if you leave it and make sure you let that skin form over the hour. So all that's left to do now is to pair up by size our macaron shells and fill with this delicious ganache. I've got a really simple writing icing here. Add to a piping bag and get creative. Let's add that final touch. Bibbity, bobbity, boom! Look at these! Look how beautiful they are! They're so cute! All that's left to do now is the frightening taste test. That is going to perk up any scary, somber Halloween night. That is pure delight. Pure frightfully oh, I've said it already. Thank you so much to Schwartz for teaming up with me this week. If you want to find out information about their fantastic herbs and spices range, I seriously encourage you to click all the links in the description box. Until next time, happy Halloween, everyone. Goodbye. Ooh.